You are now listening to the Hot Take
Phillies.
Hot Box.
You know, we are a Philadelphia sports podcast at the end of the day. The Phillies, you even just said it. Like the overall, not even just the Phillies, baseball has been real quiet with a lot of these, rumors and the stove. The stove has been awful cold. I don't know if somebody didn't pay the gas bill or what. If the electric bill. I don't know what kind of stove you may have. Yeah. But things have been real quiet, and sometimes it's like this. I mean, Christmas, they don't really want to be focusing on this stuff. I imagine January, February. I mean, we didn't sign, as a Phillies fan, we didn't sign Bryce Harper, Castellanos, Schwarber until like February when we were talking about going to spring training, and that's when they were signed. I'm pretty sure they were in spring training when Castellanos signed. So it's always a little bit. It's different every year. I feel like when we were younger, it was it seemed like things got done a lot quicker. I remember Cliff Lee was like right before Christmas when the Phillies signed him or traded for him. I don't remember which time that we acquired him, but it just seems like things are much different now. But Ty, I'm seeing an article here that I did want to talk about, which is 3 starting pitchers that could be trade targets for my Philadelphia Phillies. So I was curious about this. I wanted to see what this guy would have to say, but the number one name, Framber Valdez. So that's that triggers me a little bit because that guy was cheating and clamping us up in the World Series. All of a sudden he's switching hats, he's switching gloves, he's sweating. I mean, that guy sweats like nobody else that I've ever seen. Yeah. So. It says it was surprising that reports circulated that the Houston Astros are taking phone calls on their ace. After all, Framber Valdez has been one of their best pitchers and a major role in their playoff success. Do you think they would actually trade him?
Maybe. He is 30, and he has the type of body the type of frame that probably won't hold up that well in his 30s. He's short, a little thicker. He's had very inconsistent moments. The last 2 years, I think he's been very, very just awesome, right? I think he's had an ERA. His ERA this year was a little high, but his FIP was a little low. So I think that goes to show that the team around him wasn't great, the defense around him wasn't great. 4.3, 4.4 WAR back-to-back years. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to get something really good for him, maybe multiple top 100 prospects or something like that. But yeah, I think their pitching rotation is not looking the best either. So I don't know if I necessarily want to get rid of the most stable guy you have, right? But, maybe they're hoping Lance McCullers can come back. I'm not really sure. But I would definitely try to call around for him. I mean, he's, like I said, he's 30, so you got a couple more years left, at least of his prime, you'd think. And yeah, if I was going for it, I don't see why not. I don't think he's carrying a huge salary. I think he's still in arbitration for a couple of years.
I think he's a free agent next year. I'm not sure.
It looks like he has two arbitration years, and then he's a free agent in 2026.
Okay.
When he's going to be 32. So, yeah, I mean, listen, pretty cheap for how good he is. I think it would be dumb for Houston to trade him, but again, it depends what you get, right? So, nobody is really untouchable at the end of the day. If I was the Phillies, yeah, I'd be like, hey, do you want to swap out pitchers? We'll give you Taijuan Walker. Maybe they say yes. I don't know, but
the rumor, the deal that they speculated, I think this is from a gentleman named Zachary D. Reimer from. Why is your name so goddamn perfect? You're a reporter. You know what? Yeah. You write articles. Why do you have a D in there? Whatever, but. He probably has some serious emotional reason why it's D is Zachary. I'm going to be Matthew J. McSweeney from now on, but
I like it.
He put together a trade package. He said it would take Christopher Sanchez and Mick Abel. I mean, I would probably do that.
Yeah, right. You'd have to hope. Is Mick Abel going to churn out multiple 4-win seasons? Maybe, right? Maybe, but he's also had some arm issues already, so.
We can't be sitting around waiting for these. Like Andrew Painter, I'm okay with waiting with because you're not going to
wait for 3 or 4
players.
You're like, oh, they're all 19. Let's wait 5-6 years. Like, bro, I'm not trying to think that far ahead. I'm already almost 30. Now you want me to be like, oh, by the time I'm 35, no, bro. I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
But
so
like the way the Phillies are set, the way the Phillies are set up, like Bryce Harper's in his 30s now. He's like, oh yeah, okay, we can't make a trade for another starter that has been something that's held us back in the playoffs the last few years because we think Mick Abel's going to be a real good pitcher in a couple years. But we'll just continue to trot out Taijuan Walker and Bailey Falter in the playoffs.
Yeah, that'll work.
You're like, okay, pal, I'll just go fuck myself.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto, officially official. Dodgers have just announced they agreed to terms with the pitcher for a 12-year deal. So it is officially official. Welcome to LA, bud.
There you go.
I'm trying to get out there. San Diego. I want to go to San Diego specifically, but I do want to go out into the Cali area, the LA, Southern California general vicinity sometime in March, April, May, or something like that. So hopefully I can catch a Dodgers game and hopefully not pay $5,000 million for a ticket, but we'll see.
I've heard that stadium is very nice.
I was kind of surprised
there, and they said it's very nice
because it's kind of old, right? I've heard mixed things about Wrigley, but yeah, I've heard really good things about Dodger Stadium. The good thing they do is they always renovate. They're always renovating something. So I would love to go out there. Hopefully, I can beat up a Giants fan. That'd be really fun. Take his phone, throw it on the field. I would fucking love that.
Well, just watch yourself, though, because, people get stabbed at those games.
They do.
You're talking about 49ers fans mixing in there as well, because they are scum of the earth. Want to make sure I snuck in a little bit of it there. But what about Logan Gilbert? It's the second name that this guy has on here. Mariners might look for a massive return to trade Logan Gilbert, but they are also in desperate need of hitters to help out their roster right now and in the future. The Phillies could put together a package of prospects to land the righty that has 4 years of affordable club control remaining before hitting the free agency. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, he's 26. He's got 4 years of control, and he's already a 3-win player. Making I think he's made 88 starts in 3 years already. So yeah, he's not going anywhere. I mean, he's going to be spearheading the rotation for the foreseeable future. Again, you'd have to give up. I don't even know if the Phillies have enough in theory. I guess they do in theory to give, but you'd have to deplete your entire top 5 prospects or just your entire, the entire, top makeup of your farm system to, you'd have to give up Crawford, Mick Abel, somebody else, and then somebody else. And it's like, at what time is it worth it at that point? You're kind of selling your soul for immediate results. Like if you guys don't win the World Series in the next couple of years, Gilbert's still gonna be in his prime, but the entire makeup of the rest of the team is kind of up in the air. You need Justin Crawford in the outfield eventually. I don't want to hold on. I don't want to hug these prospects, but if you're just gonna give them all up for one pitcher, it's like the Phillies need more than just Logan Gilbert. But he would be awesome. He's a stud. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't see it happening either. And the last name on here is Shane Bieber. Would be more of a 1-year type of addition for the Phillies. Shane Bieber is hitting free agency after this year, and his production has continued to decline since he won the AL Cy Young in 2020. However, he is still a top starter in Major League Baseball, posting an ERA plus of 110. I don't know what half these numbers ever mean. That's why I don't like I don't like baseball because they use all these stats that I just don't understand. But with a season-long ERA, which I feel like that matters, is 380 in 21 starts. So, he would definitely be of help, but I wouldn't give up a ton.
Not awful, but he was also in the AL Central, which was just dog shit. And he still didn't strike guys
out. He doesn't throw hard.
The sticky stuff also played a huge part on him and James Karinchak, the psychopath number 99 for the Guardians. It seems like the Guardians were some sticky merchants. I'm not sure. But, yeah, Shane Bieber going from almost a 5-win pitcher to a 2-win pitcher. It's a steep drop-off from age 27 to age 28. That's usually, when you're in your prime. So we'll see what he does this year. But watching him pitch last year, I was not impressed. He was giving up a lot of hard contact. His home runs went up, his walks went up, his Ks went down. So I think the rotation of all his pitches went way down. So, he'd be cheap, right? That'd be a pretty solid option. I think he could give you I think he'd be pretty solid in the grand scheme of things. I think he'd be better than Taijuan Walker, but I don't know if he's really going to, it's a start is what I would say. Target a pitcher like him or I'm trying to think of somebody. I can't even think of anybody. But I would target somebody like that in their 20s to 30. I
have a name here that another article that I'm on SI.com, some sort of offspring of that. So I take that for what it's worth. But Marcus Stroman is a name that they're linked to because I think Dombrowski is still looking for a pitcher, and despite Dombrowski saying the rotation is set, which I think is a lie. I don't think that can't be the case. If that's the case, then the Phillies are not going to do anything next year. What are they saying here for? I think he's a free agent, so he's 33 years old. I believe he is 33, and they're saying 3 years, $63 million. So something in the neighborhood that you signed Taijuan Walker. I mean, listen, I don't love that either. This seems like we're kind of at the bottom. I mean, not necessarily the bottom of the barrel, but the top of the barrel has been picked out, and we are kind of stuck. Just left with the scraps, I guess. That doesn't really necessarily make me feel good. So I don't really know what the option would be. I don't know if there's any other guys that they could trade for, or it doesn't really seem like there's a lot. I mean, maybe some names pop up, Dylan Ceesay, and I don't know. I don't. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of action going on yet. And Blake Snell's still out there. I really don't want the Phillies to get him, man. I just have never been a huge believer in him. Am I crazy in thinking that? I mean, he's 31 years old. No. I don't know who's going to get him or what the money's going to look like. If it was a 3 or 4 year deal, then I would do it. But I can't imagine it's going to be.
Yeah, it's going to be much more than that. I'd be very weary of doing that. Weary. But if it's either him or like Jordan Montgomery, I think I'm taking Blake Snell. Like that's kind of the problem. Shoto Imanaga. That's a guy I would go after.
Yep, I agree. I mean, is he just going to end up in Dodgerville? That just seems like the way. Now they're saying that he might go to there's team like the Angels are pursuing him and stuff like that. Like I mean. I don't know. I'm so. I guess I'm a little bit down on the Phillies now. Once I saw the contract, I was like, okay. Like I wanted Yamamoto. That was kind of like my pipe dream this whole offseason. So then when it didn't happen, I was like, oh, okay. Like when I saw 12 years, 300, I was like, we were never doing that. Like that's okay. And plus $50 million to post for his services. Never really thought that was going to happen. Shoto Imanaga, though, I would love him just because he's a lefty. We really don't have a lot of lefty starters. I mean, Christopher Sanchez is pretty much the only option. I really want the Phils to move on from Walker. Maybe try to find somebody who will take him. And I don't think he's awful. He did pretty good for the some of the regular season. Maybe they could fix him and he could have a bounce back season. But the fact that they weren't able to use him in the playoffs really just worried the shit out of me. I didn't know he was that, when you sign a guy to that much money, you're basically paying him $20 million a year. I would hope he'd be able to throw in the playoffs, but and then bullpen. The bullpen seems like it's always the last thing to go in free agency. So, maybe we start figuring that out soon, but I don't know, Ty. It's the stove has been cold.
You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.